There are many different streamer patterns available for fly tires, and this is another great one, and it's called the silver smelt. Make sure you have these materials ready before you tie the fly. We use a size 10 streamer hook as the hook, some 6/0 red thread to tie with, some red pheasant rump for the tail, some silver tinsel for the body, some red pheasant rump for the throat, some natural mallard for the beard, natural mallard for the wing, and some red thread with red lacquer as the head. I've applied a good base layer of thread onto my hook, right back to the hook shank. Now I'm going to take a few strands, probably about 10 strands of my red pheasant rump, and we'll tie it in and keep it short, tie it in about 1/4 of an inch to form a small tail on the fly. Once the tail is tied in, take a strand of your silver tinsel and tie it into the body, and this will be used to form the body a little bit later. I now have the tinsel tied in for the body, and the nice thing about this silver tinsel is one side is silver and one side is gold. And when you actually start rotating the tinsel to form the body, it really doesn't matter which side comes up, the silver or the gold, it'll vary the pattern. So let's start wrapping it forward. And it just happens that the silver side came up on ours, so we'll have a silver pattern this time. And as I mentioned, it really doesn't matter. It works really well with both the silver and the gold. Once the body's tied in, we're going to take a few more strands of our red pheasant rump, and we're going to tie it in for the throat. Now make sure the throat, again, is about as long as the tail. It only extends down about 1/2 to 1/4 of an inch. And tie it underneath the fly. The next step is to actually tie in the beard. Again, we're going to use our natural mallard, and we're going to make it about as long as the body. So when we tie it in, make sure the mallard is actually pointing back up towards the hook. Tie it in underneath and make it about as long as the body. Once the beard is tied in, take a few more, probably double the amount of mallard you use for the beard, and tie it in for the wing. And when we tie this wing in, we want to extend it back all the way to the length of the tail. So make sure it extends the whole length of the body and the length of the tail, and then tie it in. The last few steps in the fly are quite easy. We're going to take our red thread and finish off the head, making sure it's a nice streamlined head. We'll take our whip finisher and whip finish it, and then we'll take some red lacquer and finish it off with a nice red lacquered head. So there it is, the finished silver smelt. It's one of the various streamer patterns we like to use here at Sport Fishing on the Fly, and it really comes into its own when fishing for trout.